Hi there, it's Alara here from Alara Viral Coaching, and I'm here with my office partner, Ben, over here. He's keeping me company, giving me plenty of snuggles, and today I wanted to quickly jump on and talk about anxiety, self-doubt, and fears, and how they're affecting our lives. So all of these three, anxiety, self-doubt, and fear, they all originate from a place of our mind imagining what's going to happen in the future, creating imaginary situations, scenarios in the future. So what that does is by imagining all of these things that are going to come true, our subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between the future and what's happening now, because it only sees it understands images. So what I see right now, if I see a lion in front of me, my heartbeat's going to go up. If I imagine a lion running at me, my heartbeat's going to go up. If I had ever had a lion running at me and I remember that memory, my heartbeat's going to go up. So my body reacts like as if that thing was happening now, whether it happened in the past, whether it is happening now, or whether it's going to happen in the future. So with anxiety, with self-doubt, with fear, that is exactly what our mind is doing. It's imagining something, usually the worst case scenario of something happening, and our body is reacting as if it was happening now. And our behavior reflects, our behavior acts as if that thing was happening now. And the reason why this happens is actually a protection mechanism. Our mind is trying to protect us by showing us the worst case scenario so we totally avoid it. But what it's actually doing is, I don't need to tell you how anxiety, self-doubt, and fear affect our life, but what it's actually doing is holding us back from reaching our potential for the sake of being safe, for the sake of comfort. Safety and comfort is something that our mind wants us to have, but our soul needs some risk to feel alive. Our soul needs some freedom to feel alive. So these two things aren't in conflict, but they need to be balanced. So I've explained that it is a protection mechanism that we have, but actually fear is the most sneaky one of them all, because fear actually hides itself as logic. So when we feel anxious, we usually know that we're feeling anxious, that there's some anxiety there. When we're having some self-doubt, we can hear that chatter in our mind going, you're not good enough. So we know that that's happening. But when it's fear, we don't always know that that's what we're making our decisions on. When we make a fear-based decision, and I'll say this again, when we make a fear-based decision, we usually think that we hide behind logic. We usually think that we're being logical. So when we think that we really, really want to go skydiving, and we say, yep, I'm going to sign up, and then the day of the skydiving turns up, and we say, oh, I don't think I want to do this anymore because I don't have enough money or whatever. So our brain starts creating excuses that are fear-based. It's coming from a place of fear. It's because we're afraid that it's coming up with those excuses, but it's hiding it behind a logical explanation. And think about it. How many of our decisions in life comes from a place of fear? So out of all three, I would say fear is the one to watch out for the most. And all three of them disappear when you are present in the moment. All three of them disappear. When the moment I jump out of that plane and I am skydiving, there is no fear, and it's 100% being present. Because while you're present in the moment, there is no room for fear. There is no room for anxiety or self-doubt, because you have to be present. So when you're doing that thing that you're most afraid of, or if that thing that you were most anxious about happens, sorry about the lighting, I don't know what's happening here. If that thing that you're most anxious about happens, then suddenly all the anxiety, all the fear goes, and you have to be present in the moment. When you are present, fear, self-doubt, and anxiety cannot exist. So that leads me on to my last point of how to solve these three things. By being 100% present in what you are doing. And that means being able to come out of your mind and come into your heart. Because in our heart, that's where inspiration lies, that's where creativity lies, and that's where we can be 100% present with what we're doing. Have you ever thought of something where, when you're doing something where you're 100% in flow, you're really enjoying it, and you just feel, you don't know how the time passes? That is the feeling of being 100% present. And one of the easiest tips I can give you for being present in the moment when you're feeling anxious, when you got that self-doubt, when you got that fear, bringing yourself out of your mind and into your heart. This sounds like the simplest tips, but honestly, do it now. Take 3 deep breaths. In from your nose and out from your mouth. And sigh it out. Honestly, this is the quickest and easiest way to step into being present. There is a whole world of other techniques of how to allow yourself to be present when and where you need to. Meditation, yoga, exercise, moving, but that's a whole another video. But I guess my final point that I want to make is that all these fears, all these anxieties, the self-doubts that come up, they all are trying to tell you something. So I could stand here all day giving you tips and techniques to overcome them and not feel them and be present and kind of get rid of them in the moment. But if you're experiencing them long term, if they are something that keep on coming up for you, then it's trying to tell you something. And numbing it by any means isn't going to make it go away. Numbing it by drinking, numbing it by watching TV, numbing it by eating loads of junk food, binge eating, numbing it by working all day and not resting. It's not going to make the deeper thing go away. If we are feeling anxiety, if we're feeling self-doubt, if we're feeling huge amounts of fear over a long term, yes, being present helps. But at the end of the day, that feeling is trying to tell you that something is not aligning, and something something in your life isn't aligning with you. So then it's your choice to take responsibility for that. It's your choice to take action on that and start to do something about it, to start to change it and act, make a decision from a place of courage, from a place of self-worth, rather than making a decision from a place of fear. So for me, when I was halfway through my degree and I wasn't enjoying it, I was so anxious about the future because I knew that I didn't want to be spending my whole life in mines, in gold mining, making, trying to exploit the earth for its riches. And I knew that's not what I wanted to do, and I just couldn't bring myself to do anything about it. I was like, well, I'm in this degree now, and I can't get out of it. It's I'm paying a lot of money for this, and it took a huge amount of courage to make a certain decision that is not what I was going to be doing for the rest of my life. And from then, once I'd acknowledged that there was something not aligning, and once I decided to change it, that's when things started aligning. That's when the anxiety and the self-doubt started decreasing. I'm not saying that is the only cause of anxiety and self-doubt and fears, but usually it is trying to tell you something. It's trying to tell you that you've been numbing something. So I just wanted to share that quickly with you. I go into this deeper with my 8 weeks training module, 8 weeks training process. So I'm going to leave you with that there. Fear, self-doubt, anxiety, how they, what they are, how they affect us, how to overcome it short term, and what they're trying to tell you longer term. Have a great day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you in my next video.